on the Indiana Fever in a rematch from a game earlier this season that ended in disappointment for the Chicago Sky. Can the Chicago Sky fix their offensive problems that have been going on for basically the last 6 games? We're going to talk about it all and more, have some predictions, have some fun right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. Haize Stevo, we in the building today. Stevo, how you feeling about this matchup against the Indiana Fever, brother?
The same way I've been feeling the last few games. It's really the same thing. I'm gonna be saying the same rhetoric. I don't know if there's gonna be some change today, but whatever you do, you cannot start off slow. That's the number one thing. Cannot start off slow, especially against this team who's been winning and looking like they turning a new leaf. Maybe they're gonna be playing through a Aaliyah Boston. If they're deciding to play through a Aaliyah Boston, we have a problem. So we need to hone in. We gotta play sharp. We gotta play with intention, and most importantly, gonna keep these lineups. You gotta be quick, and you gotta realize what's on your. You gotta really realize what's on your doggone lineup at this point, because you can't sit here and just allow people to just dwell on the bench or let the team go 10-2 runs and stuff like that. Like, we can't allow that to happen today. And yeah, it's really that simple. Like, to be honest, until something change, I'm just gonna be repeating the same rhetoric. Not even gonna lie to you.
It makes sense. Like, until we see something different from the team, you can only change so much. Like, the slow starts continue to be a problem for this team. I went on yesterday. I dropped the episode. I went over heavily like the statistics and what it's telling us. But outside of that,
fire video, by the way.
Hey, appreciate that, bro. I literally got in my nerd bag. I was like, hey man, let's dig deeper into this.
Definitely some nerd shit.
I get in my basketball nerd bag, bro. It's different, but I ultimately, like, taking the analytics and everything out the way, we just got to find some type of rhythm. And we don't have any type of rhythm. Like, we just don't. We don't have any type of rhythm. And everything that we do is basically like through force. And that sounds right when like you're a dominant team, but when you're a team that's 4-8 and you have to force everything. Everything we do offensively is hard. And the defense is good. Like, honestly, bro, if it wasn't for our defense, we probably would be like 2-12. Right, yeah, like it would be ugly right now if that was the case. So like, you got a defense that's been solid, even when you don't have some of the best one-on-one defensive players. I got to give Coach Spoon some props for the team defensive system is really fucking good. But the offense has to find a way to make the parts about basketball that are supposed to be easy and fundamental, at least fundamental, even if they're not easy on us. We're not doing anything fundamental right now.
And yeah, like I even look at it from like a football aspect, because there'll be times in the game they'd be like, we look gassed right now. It's like when you have a team, like, for instance, if you look at the Chicago Bears for the last 2 years, if you got a defense that's constantly bailing you out and your offense is not getting you nothing, eventually that defense is going to wear itself out, and they're not going to be the same defense towards either the end of the season and most importantly at the end of games. And which is why every time the last few games we're losing by this much. We fight all the way back, but we don't have enough in the tank, or we make mental mistakes because we're tired in the clutch, because we put ourselves in holes. We got to stop putting ourselves in holes, and that's the most important thing. You got to play sound basketball. You have to move. The word of the day is move. Move without the basketball. Move the basketball. If you're going to run this same system, that's the most important thing.
That's a fact. Jay said we went viral on Twitter. Where we go viral on Twitter for? I didn't get it. Not nan notification.
No, I did see you on Twitter when you had your little spiel on the Marina situation.
Oh, did I? It is what it is. Hey, that is what it is.
It was in a positive way though.
Oh, I mean, hey, listen, I don't do this to do viral. Honestly, our social media game is probably the weakest aspect about our podcast right now, because other than us going live and the occasional tweet during the game, we just not active right now. So, it is what it is. So
we got a lot of going on.
I mean, listen. I run 4 podcasts, bro. 3 of them are daily, so it is what it is when it comes down to it. So, it is what it is. but we appreciate y'all support. All jokes aside, we appreciate all the support. Everybody who does tag us on Twitter and stuff, even though we don't post there consistently. We appreciate all the love, and we're gonna keep giving you the number one Sky content possible. That's it. Like, and again, not a shot to any other. It's basically only us and CHGO Sky anyway. That only cover the Sky. There are a lot of really great WNBA channels out there, but as far as it's just covering the Sky, it's already slim pickings. But we are the ones that post the most consistently, so it is what it is, man.
Do what we gotta do. We love this shit.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Stuff before, like I was saying, like it was people talking about who was Stephanie Dawes. I'm like, we won a championship with her. Like, what are we talking about? Like, we've been in this mug when people, hey, y'all ain't shooting us in the gym. No,
shoot us in the gym. Hey man, yeah, it's been tough. It's been great. I think people forget too. Even the season that the Chicago Sky won the WNBA title, it's not like we were dominant that whole season. What were we, a 500 team that season? I think.
Yeah, we caught fire.
Yeah, we got at the right time. We got hot at the right time. So it's like it's been a tough go. But when people like, and it's something I had to realize too, and shout out to Nate, shout out to the people that pointed it out. Like, I've had to, as a fan, and this is where I like, you got Haize the podcast and you got Haize the fan of the team. As a fan, I've had to step back from like the love that I have for Dana Evans, because I've watched this woman since she came into the league. I've watched her in Europe. I've watched all these things, and I had to step away from that view of it and view who has Dana been this season for the Sky, independently of my thoughts, my preconceived notions of Dana, and it just evaluating what Dana Evans has been this season. It's hard not to be disappointed, bro. It's hard not to be.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, like we are heavily invested into everybody that's a Sky right now. So like, even everybody, like I've told, I'm more hard on the people that I like anyway. So I look at what you can do better anyway before it comes anything. So yeah, like we've been watching Dana, like even doing the live cards and some of the content we have said, like we wish we could get overseas Dana, but like you said, when you do this when you do podcasting, like you have to separate it. You definitely have to separate it even now, because like I think I read the comments and be like, Stevo wishy-washy. I think, like they said, they don't see the difference between Steve the fan and then Steve the podcast, because I switch is very fast. Like I'm passionate, but then I realize, well, okay, what just happened right here from a basketball standpoint or whatever sport I'm talking about. You got to be able to separate the two, because it had you stressed out. Like if you were a real Dana fan, a real Marina fan, like you didn't have like really pride knowledge of Marina when we got her. I did, and I told you like she nice, and then you see this, she going on ruts. But if you pay attention to her history, this was what she does. Like she's very high or she's very low. So it's all about paying attention and really looking at it from an analytical standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and that's where, that's part of this game. It's not, and not everybody has to do it. For anybody who wants to get in podcasting, please don't think you got to be like this super analytical person to get into it. We don't have a lot of Chicago Sky podcasts. If you have the passion, please do it. Like I can, because it helps grow the game, it helps grow the awareness, help grows perspectives, right? Because there's a lot of narratives right now around the Sky, and some of those are driven by people who have a already discontent over Angel Reese, and so having more people that have a honest and view on it is great. Like, and so you don't have to be like this super analytical person. You don't have to go over it. Some podcasts literally are just people fanning out about their favorite team. And I actually envy the people that do it. The way my brain works is I have to be analytical about stuff. It sucks. C-Dub has said that sometimes I'm over prepared. I'm like, yeah, but it is what it is at this point, man. Shout out to Jay Capone. He said, Happy Father's Day. We know Jay Capone got about 15 illegitimate children out there. So, you got to give Father's Day out to Jay Capone. He been knocking them down. We know the Jay Capone, man. He'd be like, hey, Jay Capone be like, hey, sit in my chair real quick, young lady.
Oh, rolling them down.
Thank you for the Happy Father's Day wishes, man, for sure. How much longer do you think, realistically, from what you've seen from Spoon, how Spoon's talked about it, how much longer do you think it is before Spoon does decide? How much more do we have to struggle before change is made to the starting lineup? Or do you think Spoon's going to be one of those coaches that is going to be strict about the starting lineup throughout the season unless like injury or something happens?
I don't know. Based off that last press conference, like she really looked steadfast. Like I feel like what I developed with this team and what I decided to be the star lineup will work one day.
Yeah.
And like I'm at a point to like I'm not going. I don't believe she's gonna do it till she do it. I'm at that point because, like you said, like even though like without you making that video, I knew everything you said from like all the lineups that work. I knew that just by watching it. For you to put that in perspective and now just to put that on wax and for everybody to see it, I was like, you're just not doing your job as a coach at this point.
Yeah.
As a staff, y'all not doing your job because at the end of the day, either you trying to win games or you're not. So y'all tell us something. Because at this point, I don't know what y'all mindset is. Because if you really trying to win this game and win games, especially a game like today, you know it's just certain lineups we shouldn't see today.
Yeah.
It's that simple. So it's up to her. Hopefully she gets out her own way. I'm not gonna crucify her because hey, she's it's her first time being a head coach, you know, on a major scale. So we gonna see what she can do.
For sure, for sure. Super Black says Spoon too emotional. She seems like she's gonna ride with who she ride with. Her coaching style built on relationships more than X's and O's. Here's the thing: there's a thin line between saying somebody's emotional and passionate. I don't think that Spoon like to me, and maybe everybody takes it differently. When I hear emotional, I think that you let your emotions get in the way. Yeah, like you can't focus because of your emotions. I don't think it's that. I just think she's passionate, and I think she's passionate about her players as well. Keep in mind, Coach Spoon, in that press conference before the season started, she says, we have everything we need. And we knew then we didn't have no three-point shooting. That's how passionate she is about this roster. I think that she really, and that may be the former player in her coming out a little bit too much, that she, as the point guard, she thinks that she can get the best out of everyone. And that could be a detriment overall. But I just really take Spoon as somebody who's just really passionate about her players, that she really believes in these ladies, and she probably thinks they're just in a slump. They're gonna get out of it. But at some point, you gotta realize they may just not come out of it. You gotta change some things, and then that may help get them out of where they are in that rut.
I keep trying to tell people because like I really want people to like start talking to coaches so you can like kind of understand the psyche of a coach, because I keep trying to tell people to be a coach on the professional stage, especially a head coach, you almost got to be borderline narcissistic, because you got to go out there with cameras, lights, everybody around you in the stands think they know what they talking about, thinking they know better than you. You got to go up against another staff against you, and you got to be like, this play is going to work, and this lineup I put together is going to work. Like, you know how mentally that takes a toll for you, especially like a lot of these people go home 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
They at the facility most of the time, especially as a head coach. So, like you said, I wouldn't classify it as emotional, because if it was emotional, she'd be getting kicked out of games. She'd be getting texts. I don't think she got a tech yet. So, like, emotion, you see, like, you take yourself out the game. Draymond's, Marina, when she gets upset and you just see her, she's just visually shook. That's emotional. Passionate, she's mad as hell because, one, yeah, the thing she's putting out isn't working, but one thing she shouldn't have to question is, one, energy, and then those times when we're slumping on defense and rebounding. That's something that would drive any coach crazy, because it's none of that. I don't got time for hearing for that shit. Yeah, shooting slumps I can handle, but energy, no, I can't have. That will piss a coach off to the highest degree.
Yeah, that's a fact. And you know, and not to give her like the blanket, she's a rookie head coach excuse, but you got to realize that the reality is she is a rookie head coach with two of her biggest players and most important players also being rookies. It takes time to kind of learn the ebbs and flows of a game of basketball. Like, and everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. And I'm sure the Sky come in with a great plan, and then they get punched in the damn mouth every first quarter, and then it's like, all right, now we're pressing, right? So those things I think are going to come with time. The things that do stand out about really good, because I think defense typically is a harder thing to coach than if you have talented offensive players. So there's enough thing, like I've seen, and I'm not saying anybody in this chat, but like I've seen crazy things said, like, well, is Coach Spoon going to be in the hot seat by then? No, this is a rebuilding team. We traded away former finals MVP. And that's a year after missing out on players who had been here for almost a decade. I don't think this guy came into the season expecting to be world beaters. I think they came in here expecting to be tough team that fight hard, that compete. And we've been in every game that we've lost. You take away those slow starts, we probably could have won more. But Coach Spoon isn't going anywhere anytime soon. I don't want to see her go anywhere anytime soon. But I just want to see her start understanding how to kind of fix some of the issues that are fixable by coaching. Some are not fixable because we just don't have the roster to fix certain things yet. We're never going to be a volume 3-point shooting team. We're probably never going to be a highly effective 3-point shooting percentage team. But the things as far as the movement off the ball, the half-court offense, running more simple pick and rolls, taking advantage, using Angel Reese more as a point forward so your guards can kind of move around more freely. These are things that she can control that can make things easier, but we're always going to be a tough, have it rough offensively, I think.
Yeah, I just need people to stop being so reactional.
Yeah.
Like I said, we 4-8. We shouldn't even be 4-8 based on all the newness around here. Like, I need you to realize who we lost. 2 players that we lost, and Courtney Williams and Elena Smith, is 10-3 with the Minnesota Lynx. That's valuable players we gave up.
Yeah.
Not let alone Kyle went to the Mercury, who was 6-7. So our best players went to better teams, and we're still not the worst team in the league. So for people to say like, "Oh, we need to," is she on the hot seat? See that now you sound like a goddamn Laker fan, and that's why nobody want to coach over there, because y'all gonna get these coaches fired in 2 years because y'all don't know it takes time to win. First of all, do y'all not know who's the first coach of the Las Vegas Aces? Because it wasn't Becky Ham, it was Bill Lambier.
That's fact.
And then that took like 2 to 3 years before they even got close. I think they won maybe 1 championship with Bill, and Becky won the rest. Came in and won the rest. So at the end of the day, it takes time. It's a process. Everything is not going to turn on like, and to your point, like you said, especially when we're leaning on our rookies for the 80, a good, nice portion of the game, which I feel like is bad. So like, it's a lot of context that you got to give for Coach Spoon, because like you said, for a young coach, usually when you have a young coach, you want to surround them by veterans. She just lost her top veteran. We're a young ass team at this point.
That's a fact.
With our main focus and our main offense is getting our bigs on the block who are both rookies, and we're having trouble getting it because we're causing turnovers. Just saying.
Yeah, it's gonna take time, and I get it. Everybody has the right to be frustrated because what we've seen so far is frustrating. It's frustrating to see your team perform this way and give up huge leads, but then come back and just fall short. Like, everybody has the right to be frustrated by this, but let's put it in perspective. Like, I'll say this: if the Sky, let's say they do miss the, I think right now they're still slated to be the 8 seed, but let's say they do miss the playoffs in this season. But Angel and Camilla, they acclimate to the WNBA. We're starting off next season with having them two. It's still a win, right? Because you've got the season of seeing them. So like the purpose of the season, because we're not a championship contender. We're not going to be a championship contender this season. The main purpose of this is to teach Camilla and Angel what's needed at the WNBA level, lay down a foundation so they can work in the off. Because keep in mind, they didn't get to have an off season. They went from being in the NCAA tournament to 2 weeks later playing preseason games in the WNBA. So now having an off season to work, round out their games on certain things that they see they need to do specifically at the WNBA level is always the most important part. But best believe I ain't giving up on us making the playoffs yet either. I don't care if we get eliminated in the first round. I still want that playoff spot. We just got to fight hard to get it. That's all. So
yeah, and like I said, like, so it's a lot of game left. It's a whole lot of season left. Like, we finna take this month break. I think we got 11 games until the break. So we got a lot of game left, and then we got a lot of game after that. So we got plenty of time to make some things changes, to make some things shake. And yeah, like I said, we ahead of schedule for most teams that's in the predicament, starting off with how we did in the offseason. So hey, I'm looking forward. I'm like I said, I like the journey in sports, and this is part of the journey. We run into a little bit of a wall, and it's all right. It's how you come over and how you climb over that wall. That's the most important part.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Got a super chat here. Thoughts on Boston Corderso lineup? I think there's a chance KC is going to get in foul trouble, and if that's the case, I hope we go to Izzy at the 5 sooner to take Boston out the paint. I can see where you're going with that. My problem is on the opposite side of the ball, the defense side of the ball, because if Boston is because Izzy has also had some foul trouble issues. So I just hope that nobody gets in foul trouble. I do think the Aaliyah Boston Camila Cardoso matchup is going to be an important one today, especially if they play through Aaliyah like they should have been doing since the beginning of the damn season. It's
Please
definitely
play
going to be
through
one.
Caitlin today. That's all I gotta say. Please
I
play through
mean,
Caitlin today.
yeah. So this is going to be a tough game. I think from top to bottom, it's going to be a very tough game on the Sky. We're going to need our defense to be sound, but we're going to have to, because I tell you what, if Caitlin does get hot, especially if you're playing more through Aaliyah and Caitlin's able to just become that shooter and she gets hot, we have no way to manage a hot 3-point shooting team, because we can. It's going to be a math problem. We can't match the 3-point shots there. So we're going to have to be sound defensively first. And that could be a very tough matchup for the Sky. That's all I can say on that one.
Yeah, that's why I said matchups is important today. Rotations is important today. And she got to be on key with it. She can't just sit there and be this is not a game to let them figure it out. No, you see a problem, take the ass out. Just shake some shit up. You got to do it like that. It's too many times where I see her doing that, and which is weird, because we know early in the season, if she ain't like what she was doing, you getting your ass out. And I'm seeing her do that mainly with like older players. Like, I ain't gonna lie, she does that a lot with Diamond. I'm like, Diamond is fucking up. Sit her down. Like, I don't know. I get what she's done in the past. She's probably a hell of a leader. I get all that. She could do that shit on the bench at times. It's just it is what it is.
Yeah, let's hope so, man. This is a team that we know that the fight that they have in them, and this is going to be one of those games where the fight is hugely important. For example, if we do lose to the Indiana Fever today, the Fever would jump as long as the Sparks loses. Well, Sparks don't play today. Oh yeah, they do. If the Sparks lose today and Indiana beats us, we will fall all the way down to the 10th spot, and the Sparks, the Indiana Fever will be in the 8th, and the Sparks at the 9th. If the Sparks win and the Fever beat us, then the Sparks would be at 8, Fever at 9. We drop down to the 10th spot. Not that it really matters right now. We got so many games left, but I don't want to lose to the Fever. And this isn't a Caitlin Clark thing. People go back and look. I say the same thing last season. It's not about Caitlin Clark. I actually like Caitlin Clark. I love Aaliyah Boston, but the Fever, I have my narrative. I need the Fever to be our rivals. I don't want to see them make the playoffs this year. So let's not lose this game.
They like our Cleveland Galaxies. Like, they like the Detroit Tiger. I hate them. I don't know why. I just don't like them.
I just don't like
it. Ain't no historic beef there, but it is.
Hey, I tell you what, this is probably going to be the fact that Caitlin Clark went to the Fever and Angel Reese went to the Sky. Because this is, keep in mind, this is rivals weekend. Yeah. This is where teams are supposed to be facing their rivals, so they put us against the Fever. The WNBA knows what they're doing.
You got Seattle versus Phoenix tonight. I mean, later on, why would y'all put that both for 2:00? I'm not going to get into it.
Father's Day. I get it. It's Father's Day, but it's like you got a triple header today, and you put the two biggest games on the exact same time, and the Sparks game is on ESPN 3.
Just stupid.
It's
just
tough,
stupid.
Man. Yeah, it's tough, man.
God damn.
Yeah,
what they fucking beat their ass before I get a goddamn fever. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, all I got to say is this, man. Hey, listen, y'all. If you live in Gary, Indiana, but you're a Sky fan, this doesn't apply to you. Anybody who lives in Gary, Indiana, that's not a Chicago Sky fan, you dirty motherfucker. That's all I got to say. That's it. I'm just gonna leave it there.
They know that already. Like, have you seen they schools,
bro?
Matter of fact, have you seen they roads,
bro? I make fun of Detroit for looking like a third world country, but Gary, Indiana, bro, literally look like you, like you still in the 60s, bro.
60. It looked forsaken. It looked like Cuba,
bro. That's crazy, man.
That shit look like the middle of Venezuela.
See, and that's one thing. Like, Sexy Red looked like she from Gary, Indiana, but she from St. Louis, and I hate that. She looked like she from Gary, and like if she would have popped on the scene and been like, "Yeah, Gary," I would have been like, "That tracks. That tracks."
But you acting like St. Louis ain't got some, you know.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, they gentrified a lot of the worst neighborhoods in St. Louis. Except, listen,
they did.
Where the state streets on the south side of St. Louis, though, that's never gonna change,
Southside, as
Bro.
God is my witness, we had to play with my high school played it. They used to basketball, bro. We ran every fucking red light. Fuck that. We're not.
Yeah,
no, I'm not stopping till we get out of East St. Louis.
The south side of St. Louis is a place that on the same porch, do you see somebody braiding your hair, selling frozen Kool-Aid cups and cocaine all at the same time.
And that damn chair is that plastic ass white chair that if anybody sit on it wrong, that bitch breaking.
The white plastic chair that if you take the wrong angle, the leg bend on. Yeah, we all know, man. We all know. But nonetheless, man, we thank you guys for tuning in, man.
Hey, Buka said, "Hey, Dana from Gary, she the only one that got out."
Her though. We adopted her though. It's different. It's different.
She got the hell out of there with the Louisville quick.
Because she lives. For those that don't know, Dana Evans' off-season home is in downtown Chicago. So she stays in Chicago during the off season, whereas everybody else goes back home.
She one of ours now.
Yeah, she us now. We claim that we took her in the draft. But we appreciate you guys for turning in. No live call, no halftime hangout today either, guys. But we will be back for the post game show. But thank you guys for supporting the channel. We'll be back. Let's hope that the Sky can get this dub against the Indiana Fever. And if you're from Gary, I don't apologize for anything that